Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery. Outside today, we've got two great bows from Bear Archery to tell you about. And this is cool. I like it when bow companies do this. We have two very different shooting experiences here. We've got the flagship Execute 30 and we've got the budget model Legend XR. Lots of differences between these two bows, but between the two of them, they're going to appeal to just about everybody out there. We'll tell you all about each bow individually, but first, let's get the specs for the Bear Execute 30 and the Legend XR. The Bear Legend XR measures 32 inches axle to axle. It's got an IBO speed rating of 320 feet per second, brace height of 6¼ inches. It's going to have an adjustable draw length range from 18 to 31 inches. The let-off is fixed at 85%, and the draw weight range of this bow goes from 14 to 70 pounds. The Bear Execute 30 measures 30 inches axle to axle. It's got an IBO speed rating of 340 feet per second, brace height of 6½ inches. It's going to have an adjustable draw length on a rotating module from 26 to 30 inches. The let-off is going to be adjustable from 75 to 80 to 85 to 90%, and it's going to be available in draw weight ranges from 45 to 60 pounds or 55 to 70 pounds. All right, so we got the Legend XR here, and as I mentioned, this is going to be the budget-friendly bow that Bear is offering this year. MSRP of $460 here as we speak, which is just an incredible price point for this bow because of what it does. Let's tell you a little bit about it here. You heard the specs on this, the draw weight range and the draw length range. So why a bow company does that is this is going to be a great bow for a new archer or a growing archer. Either one of those it's going to be great for. It's going to be great for anybody with the performance that this bow gives you, but that's the target audience for this. You know, you have those new archers who are growing. This is a bow they can grow into. Even if you're an adult and you're a new archer, you know, that huge draw weight range is awesome. That way you can start out low, get the coordination you need, and then build up that weight as you go on. So that's a great feature. Love to see those in these bows. So what we're looking at here is the DHCXR Cam. This is a hybrid cam that Bear has. Of course, you got your split yokes out here, so you're going to be able to use those for tuning to clean up paper tears. You can see that module there. What I like about this is it tells you what draw length you're setting at. That's always great. You don't have to look up, you know, A, B, C, D, okay, which is A? Is A at the low end or the high end? It tells you right on there what draw length that you are at. We got this nice big flat spot on the draw stop. That's what's going to come around and contact the cable. And you can see with all that surface area, that's a nice solid back wall, even though you're coming into the cable. So it's a good feeling at the back wall there. This is something that we don't see very often in those super adjustable bows. You know, the bows with the high draw length and draw weight range, you generally don't see one that's 32 inches axle to axle. Usually they're shorter than that. So this is going to be a great bow for those archers who like a little bit longer bow. You know, a longer bow tends to feel a little bit more stable. They're my preference. I like a longer bow. So this is a great one. You know, you get a new archer, maybe a tall archer. Anytime you get to that draw length where you are at or above the axle to axle length, the bow can feel kind of tippy. So at 32 inches, this is going to be a great choice for any bow hunter out there. So with that draw weight range, you can see this bolt sticking out the underside of the riser here. That comes all the way out to the front. That's to account for that huge weight range, you know, from 14 to 70 pounds. You know, when you have that much of adjustment range, you need a long bolt there. So you can see there's a lot of turns you can take out of that to get that weight range. Something that Bear is kind of known for is if your arrow rest has room to put 2 bolts in there. 2 bolts into your rest are always going to be more secure than 1, because then you don't have that pivot point. If you have 2 bolts in your rest, it can't move up and down. Of course, you have to have a rest with enough space in there to accommodate 2 bolts, but if you do, that's just rock solid. Then coming down, you got your standard bushing up front for a front stabilizer, and of course top and bottom you're going to have your limb dampeners here, just to make those limbs, quiet them down a little bit, kill some of that vibration. Okay, so the shooting experience of the Legend XR. So remember, this is a bow with an MSRP of $460. What impressed me was the accuracy that I was able to get out of this bow. First off, setting it up and tuning it. I just did the basic setup, you know, got my knock height, set my center shot, 13/16, industry standard, went out to the range and got a bullet hole first try. You know, I would have had the yokes here, which I could have tuned. Didn't even need to do that. It was shooting perfect just by setting my rest and my knock height. So then coming out on the range here, we're shooting it out at 40 yards. And this thing pounds. Super accurate. So $460, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if my groups opened up a bit out at 40 yards, but they didn't. They were tight in there, nice packed in. This thing really did shoot well. There is some hand shock. You will feel some hand shock at the shot. That's to be expected. Not quite as much vibration reduction as you're going to see in some higher end bows, but it's not horrible. The bow didn't jump out of my hand. The draw cycle. The draw cycle is nice. I will say there's effort at the front end and then effort again before that cam rolls over. So you can't really relax as you come back through the draw cycle. You got to be prepared for that extra effort again. But then once you get that cam to roll over, 85% let off. I mean, this thing just sits like a dream at full draw. It aimed really well. Again, that's probably from that 32 inches. I like those longer bows. So aims well, shoots well at distance. I mean, this bow just has it all. And once again, just to reiterate, you know, growing archers, I think that's obvious why this bow is great for the draw length and draw weight range, but new archers, that's one thing we like to see. New archers start out at a low draw weight. So often bow hunters come in, they hear their buddies shooting 60 and 70 pounds, they want to jump right in there. That's how bad habits develop. If you're just coming into archery, archery uses some unique muscles. It's not so much strength that you need, it's coordination. And that coordination just does take a little while to build up. So, hey, start out at 30 pounds. Get that coordination down, get your form set, and then you can move up and, you know, you can take this all the way up to 70 pounds. So this is a bow that anybody can bow hunt with those kind of numbers. All right, so the Execute 30. There is a 32 version, that's 32 inches axle to axle. I have the 30, the Execute 30 here, 30 inches, so that's my experience that I have with. And this thing has every bit of the flagship bow. Everything that you want in a flagship bow, this one has. Bear really outdid themselves this time. They're sticking with their EKO Cam. This is a cam system that they have run for a while, and it's super adjustable. So we've got that draw length range from 26 to 30 inches. And then, as we mentioned, adjustable let off, 75, 80, 85, 90. And the way Bear does that is unique in the archery industry. It's not just simply moving a peg on the draw stop. What there is there's different positions of the module that you're going to move, and that's within a draw length. You know, you can have it at for 30-inch draw length, and there's some positions you can move it to change that let off, as well as the draw stop right here. Two of the positions, you know, you're going to face the draw stop one way, or the other, and that changes the let off. That's one of the ways that you change it. So a unique way that they allow you to adjust that let off between 4 different positions, again, to get the shooting experience you want. But then coming down, we've got this wide limb pocket, wide limbs, wide limb pocket, wide limb stance. We know from the industry that that's key for stable performance, helps you hold this thing steady at full draw, steadies the shot, after you release the arrow. That's just a great system when you have that wide limb pocket, wide limbs, and the wide limb stance. Now coming down, this bow, the Execute, has vibration reduction all over it. You've got your limb dampeners up here, you've got some vibration killing there. Coming down, you've got it in the string stop. There's just vibration reduction all over this bow, and I can say at the shot, you hear and feel nothing. It's super quiet, super dead in the hand. All right, so a couple cool features here in the Reiser we wanted to tell you about. They've got this built-in level. So this thing is great when you are putting your sight on to set your second axis. So your second axis, you're gonna adjust your sight this way. So one of the things you'd have to do at some point is you have to make sure your bow is level with the earth. Well, you'd have to attach a level to it, except with the Execute, you don't have to. You've got the level built in right there, and then you can just set that in a vise and then adjust the sight to get your second axis set. So that's great there. And then they've got this cool cable system here. So the way Bear deals with the cables moving, a lot of other bows, you're going to see a cable slide. Something on there's going to be an arm, and the cables are going to be contained in a rolling device. Something that moves up and down the arm there. But with Bear, what they did is this just moves. They've got a pivot in their cable arm. You've got rollers here, that's key for smooth draw cycle. And then they've got a pivoting arm there. That's how they deal with the whole movement of the cables. Just a nice system there, a different way of doing it. It's quiet, you don't get any extra vibration out of that. Nice system there. Now, something Bear does with their grips that I really like is they give you this indentation, this channel down the front here. So that's great for when you put your hand into the grip, you can feel around and get your finger position, just for that repeatability of the grip. So if you're here one time and over on this side another time, you'll know it. So, you get what your reference point is, wherever it is, and having that channel, you can find that easier time and again. You're going to get 2 grips with this bow. So what I have on here is what they call the Grizz grip. It's a nice rubber type grip there, so that's going to be warm on those cold days. A little bit wider here down towards the palm, a little more stability, just more grip to sit in your hand there. So that is one that you're going to get. And then you're also going to get the Versa grip, which is a more slim grip, probably what you're more used to in terms of a bow grip. It's just going to be skinnier, slender profile. Both of them are nice. It's up to you. Again, what we like is for you to be able to get this bow to set up the way you want it. So you even get a choice there with the grips. You're going to have stabilizer positions. You're going to have bushings on the back here if you want to set up a side rod off the back of the bow. You're going to have your standard one up front there. Of course, you can also connect your side rod connection to the front or just mount your stabilizer there. You've also got another mounting position down here for your side rod bracket. If you want to get that super low, you can get it low down there, run it off to the side. So in setting up the bow, you can see I have my draw stop here. This does come around and impact the cable. So it is that cable stop system where there is a little bit of give at the back wall. If you want to, you can just pull through it a little more. It is super solid though when it comes around. If you like a solid back wall, you get that experience as well. And everyone does come with a limb stop. If you prefer the immovable back wall, you do get a limb stop with this. You can set it up that way as well. All right, so at the riser shelf, something Bear Archery has been doing, you are going to have room to have 2 bolts there, 2 burger holes where you can put in 2 rest retention bolts. You know, if you can get 2 of them in there, there's nothing that can pivot. Lock that rest down in place. All right, shooting the Execute 30. So this bow I felt exceeded my expectations. 30-inch bows I often sometimes shy away from, but this one shot great. I really liked how this bow shot. It was super accurate, easy to tune. I didn't have to do anything. Got a bullet hole just by setting my knock height and my arrow rest position for left and right. But at the shot, I mean, this thing is just super dead. It's nice and comfortable to shoot. I set it up to have that maximum 90% let off. The draw cycle is nice and comfortable. This is one of those bows that to me feels like it's less weight than what it says it is. So, you know, it's set at 70 pounds. I felt like it was more like 60. I like those bows. They're super easy to draw. And when you get that cam to roll over at 90%, this is one of those bows where it feels like you have to push to get if you want to let down the string. So you can just stand there at full draw all day. Super accurate. Yeah, I was shooting this bow, you know, out to 40 yards, was able to shoot nice tight groups, so it held well, grouped well, just got great performance out of this bow, and it shot really well for me. All right, so that is the Bear Execute 30 and Legend XR. 2 very different bows. It's gonna accommodate, you know, a wide range of budgets. If you like the flagship models, you know, that Execute 30 is gonna be perfect for you. Those new archers, growing archers, or budget conscious archers, the Legend XR, that's gonna be a great choice for you. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at LancasterArchery.com.